the invisible forces that decide who gets rich before every collapse. Every major financial collapse leaves behind the same question. How did some people see it coming, while most people didn't? Why do a small number of individuals emerge wealthier after every crisis, while the majority struggle just to recover? It is tempting to believe the answer is luck, or insider information, or timing, but history tells a different story. Those who benefit from financial turning points are not predicting the future. They are understanding the system. Because beneath markets, currencies, and headlines exist invisible forces that quietly decide who gains and who pays the price. These forces have shaped wealth distribution for thousands of years, and they are active right now. To understand them, we must stop thinking about money as numbers and start thinking about money as behavior. Because every financial system in history is ultimately a reflection of human psychology. Fear, confidence, greed, trust. Civilizations rise when trust is strong. They decline when trust begins to fracture. And wealth moves long before collapse becomes visible. Let's go back in time. Not to Rome, not to Spain, but even further, to ancient Mesopotamia. The earliest recorded financial systems were built around grain, debt, and obligation. Farmers borrowed seeds in spring. They repaid after harvest. Debt was temporary. It had a clear purpose. It was tied directly to productivity. But even in the earliest civilizations, a dangerous pattern emerged. When harvests failed, debts could not be repaid. Over time, debt accumulated faster than production. Banks did something revolutionary. They realized they did not need to hold all the gold their customers deposited. They could lend a portion of it. Fractional reserve banking was born. At first, it worked beautifully. Credit expanded trade. Innovation accelerated. Economies grew faster. But this system introduced something new into history. Money was no longer limited by physical reality. It was limited by confidence. As long as people believed banks could pay, the system functioned. When confidence cracked, everything stopped. This is where wealth redistribution begins. Because those closest to money creation always receive it first, and those farthest away receive it last. This concept has a name: the Cantillon effect. Named after economist Richard Cantillon in the 18th century. It explains why newly created money does not affect everyone equally. When new money enters the system, it flows first to governments, banks, and large institutions. They spend it before prices rise. By the time money reaches workers and consumers, prices have already increased. Purchasing power quietly transfers upward. This is not conspiracy. It is mechanics. The same effect existed in Rome. It existed in Spain. It existed in Britain. And it exists today. Modern money creation does not happen through coins or gold. It happens through debt. Every time a loan is created, new money enters the system. Governments issue bonds. Central banks purchase them. Liquidity expands. Corporations borrow cheaply. Asset prices rise. Those who own assets grow wealthier. Those who rely on wages fall behind. This is why inequality accelerates during long expansion cycles. Not because people become lazy, but because the structure rewards proximity to capital. History shows this clearly. Before the Great Depression, the 1920s were a decade of optimism. Stocks surged, credit expanded, speculation exploded. Everyone believed prosperity was permanent. Sound familiar? When the system collapsed, those heavily leveraged were wiped out. But some emerged stronger. Who? Those who held real assets. Those with liquidity. Those who avoided overconfidence. The same pattern appeared in the 1970s. Inflation surged, currencies weakened, traditional savings lost value. Those who held only cash became poorer in real terms. Those who owned real assets, productive businesses, and inflation-resistant stores of value preserved wealth. In the early 2000s, cheap credit fueled housing bubbles. Confidence replaced caution. When the collapse arrived in 2008, the damage was not equal. Those who understood leverage survived. Those who didn't paid the price. This brings us to a critical insight. Financial collapses do not destroy wealth. They redistribute it, and redistribution favors preparation. The most dangerous belief is that the system will protect everyone equally. History has never supported this belief. Now let's talk about science. Specifically, complexity. Complex systems behave differently than simple ones. The human brain, ecosystems, financial markets, they appear stable until they suddenly aren't. Scientists call this phenomenon critical transitions. Systems accumulate stress silently, then shift abruptly. The moment of collapse is rarely predictable, but vulnerability is. In financial systems, vulnerability increases when Debt grows faster than income. Complexity exceeds transparency. Confidence replaces caution, and incentives reward risk-taking. We are living in such a moment, but this is not a message of fear. It is a message of awareness. Because individuals do not need to mirror the system, they can position themselves differently. Historically, people who protect wealth share common behaviors. They think in cycles, not headlines. They prioritize resilience over maximum returns. They diversify across asset classes, geographies, and time horizons. They maintain optionality. Optionality is power. It means having choices when others don't. Cash is optionality. Skills are optionality. Mobility is optionality. During stable periods, optionality looks inefficient. During disruption, it becomes priceless. This is why the richest individuals often appear overly cautious. Right before crises, they are not pessimists. They are realists. They understand that extreme optimism is not a signal of safety. It is often a warning. History also teaches us something subtle. The biggest risk is not collapse. It is complacency. Empires fall when they stop questioning their assumptions. Individuals lose wealth when they assume normal will continue indefinitely. But cycles always turn, and awareness always comes early to those who study patterns. We are not witnessing the end of the world. We are witnessing the late stage of a cycle. What comes next will not look identical to the past, but it will rhyme. New technologies will emerge, new financial structures will form, new winners will rise, and wealth will once again move quietly before headlines catch up. The goal is not to predict dates. The goal is to understand dynamics. Because when you understand dynamics, you are rarely surprised. History does not reward certainty. It rewards adaptability. ChronoWealth exists for this reason. Not to spread fear, not to promise shortcuts, but to reveal patterns that help individuals think independently in a world driven by emotion and noise. The future is never random. It is shaped by forces that have been repeating for thousands of years. Those who recognize them early do not panic when systems change. They position, they prepare, they endure, and they build. This is ChronoWealth, history, science, money, understanding the cycles that decide who rises before the world notices change.